before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to all of my subscribers. You guys have pushed me up over 500 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000, so like I said before, tell a friend to go ahead and subscribe. Once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I am giving away a baby bottle of Blanton's, and the only thing you have to do is subscribe and enter the words Baby B in any of the comment section of any of the videos that I've shot previously or this current video. So this is letter A. It was dumped 5/12/22. So if that is a date that is near and dear to your heart, go ahead and enter for a chance to win. Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host Myron. Today, you see what I got on the table. Allocated after allocated after allocated. Look, what I don't like is when I walk into a store and I see outrageous prices, man. I just went into a store the other day and picked up a bottle of Larceny Barrel Proof 8123. I was upset when the guy pointed to the glass cabinet and said, "Hey, I've got more bourbons over here in the cabinet if you want to check them out." As soon as I walked over, my mouth hit the floor. I mean, y'all saw the thumbnail. So you saw the prices that were on it. I mean, give me 1 second. $3,500, $3,600 for a Pappy 15-year, $1,299, $1,300 for Van Winkle, $1,200 for Old Rip Van Winkle 10, $1,600 for Stag. He had Elmer T. Lee. Now, I've had Elmer T. Lee before. I did not think Elmer T. Lee was that great. Now, that was early on in my bourbon journey, and I've been wanting to get my hands on some since just to see if I was wrong, because I wasn't a big fan of Eagle Rare early on in my bourbon journey. I thought it was a little too spicy on the back end, but $399 for Elmer T. Lee, when that retails for about $35 a bottle, that's just ridiculous. Another one, he's got Colonel E.H. Taylor Single Barrel for $349.99, $350. He's got Colonel E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof at $600. I mean, and it goes on and on. He had some decent prices on Booker's. He had the new Booker's, the 2020 204 for basically $106. I mean, I've seen it in Maryland as high as $110 because it was $109.99. You know, but to me that is ridiculous. But one of the questions I ask myself is, are we the problem? And the reason why I ask that is because how many times have you saw a bottle that was half the price of the highest price you saw it at before and said, "Oh, that's a great deal, I gotta buy it"? That you do have to fight the FOMO. What do we do? I'm trying to figure out, what do we do to get some of these store owners to drop their prices? I mean, I talked to a store owner, now look, this is just hearsay, but I talked to a store owner, a real store owner, and this dude told me he doesn't carry any Buffalo Trace products. And I asked him why. And he said because he was told in order to get his hands on any of the good Buffalo Trace, he had to purchase so much Fireball that it just wouldn't make sense. He said he wasn't going to break even at the end of the day. And then I talked to another store owner. I was in his store, and you know, I try to build relationships with store owners, and sometimes that's how you get the good deals. He told me the reason why he has a sign up saying Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend, one per customer with the purchase of a regular Joseph Magnus, is because that's what his distributor told him. Now I want you guys to listen to what this store owner had to say.
I mean, yeah, they told me I had to pretty much buy a whole bunch of side products in order for me to get the main products. So I didn't want to do it. And I'm in partnership with another guy, and he told me that he had to buy a whole bunch of cigar blends. So I went into a deal with him and bought some cigar blends, and we needed to make our money back. So we started telling people they had to buy the regular Joseph Magnus too. And he told me that's what he was told, so I told my customers the same thing. Well, that's kind of how it went. So if you believe that, I mean, at least that's how it was put to me.
I hope you enjoyed that, man. But that's pretty much how they say their arm got twisted. Now, this is all hearsay. This is what they tell me, so I don't know how true it is, you know. And I don't want to put distributors out there like that without facts, without being there. So I'm just going off of what I've been told. But to me, that is just ridiculous, man, because on the back end, he's sticking it to the customer. So they're sticking it to them, and then they're sticking it to the customer because they don't want to take that loss. I mean, it's just ridiculous. When I get a bonus, or you guys get a bonus, or you get some overtime at work or something like that, and you start thinking about the bottles that you saw that were for a decent price, do we need to stop buying those bottles? I walked into a liquor store one day and they had WLW for $750. And I mauled it over, man, and I just could not do it. One of my Facebook groups, a guy told me, he said he would have snatched it up in a heartbeat. And that's the reason why they keep charging these prices, because they know eventually someone is going to come in that store and buy that bottle for that much when they only paid a certain amount and they're going to clean up. So what do we do? How do we fix it? I'm asking you guys to put it in the comments, because it just makes it hard on us bourbon drinkers to get our hands on some good allocated bourbon for a decent price. Every bottle you see up here, I've got for a decent price. Most of the bottles you see up here, I got for retail. This right here, the Eagle Rares, the Weller Special Reserve, I got that for retail. The Buffalo Trace. This is the Stag 17. I won that. I did pay a little more than retail. I think I paid 85 bucks for that. This one right here, I did a trade for, and I still think that guy got the better end of the deal, because I traded him a Blanton's for that. You know, everything pretty much on the table I got for retail or just a little bit above. I don't like going that high over retail, with the exception of the Russells. Shout out CA. He called me and said, look, I've got my hands on a bottle of Russells, but it is double the price. Are you willing to pay it? I said yes, and I'm kind of glad I did. But am I part of the problem too? I just, I don't know. What do we do? Are we part of the problem? Is it the distributors? Is it the store owners? Is it a little bit of all of that? Because look, even though that guy has some outrageous prices, I was able to walk out of there with a bottle of Larceny for 60 bucks, 65 after taxes. And this thing is damn good. And I'll tell you what, it probably beats 90 to 99% of the, oh, well, I won't go that high. That might be a little high. 90 to 95% of the bottles on the table. And it is damn good, and they come out with releases 3 times a year. So you have your chance to get at least one of them. So what do we do? Please comment. What do we do? I mean, look, I'll tell you this. This bottle right here, this is a ladies liquor store pick. I stumbled across this bottle. I went to play golf one day, stopped at a liquor store that I normally stop at on the way back, and they had tons of this. And went there probably about 2 weeks ago, and it was finally all gone. So this is a bottle that I bought back from a friend because it is that good. Now, this bottle was my 2022 best. It beat everything on the table. I mean, the brown sugar notes, the caramel notes, the butterscotch. I mean, everything in this bottle crushes pretty much everything on this table. It was my number one. Close second was the Russell's Reserve 13. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that I have reviewed some heavy hitters, from the Pappy 12, the Van Winkle Family Reserve line, the what was it, the 17-year-old or 14-year-old Old Fitz. So I mean, I've had some heavy hitters on the channel, man. So for a $90 store pick to whoop those bottles, when you know that Old Fitz, 800 bucks, the Van Winkle Family Reserve, $1,500, $1,200. This right here will probably go for $400 to $500. This on secondary is going to go for $350 to maybe $500. So to have a store pick beat out pretty much, well, everything on the table, and I didn't have to spend nowhere near what those bottles cost. I mean, it just goes to show you that you don't have to chase everything out there. Would I love to get my hands on a George C. Stagg? Yes. You know why? Because it was, when I tried it at the time, it was the best bourbon that I had ever had. I would love to put that up against the ladies liquor store pick and see which one comes out on top. So you have a $90 bottle versus a roughly $99 bottle when you talk about MSRP, but you know you're not going to get it for that. So my thing is, why they call us bourbon hunters for a reason. If you have endless amounts of funds and you can go out there and just drop that on a bottle, you know, without hesitation, then you know you're really not a bourbon hunter, you're a bourbon buyer. They call us bourbon hunters because we go out, we search for these bottles, we try to find the best prices on these bottles, we look through dusty shelves for these bottles, we actually go out on a hunt. Now, look, I have a budget. Some of you guys don't have a budget, and I'm not talking down. It's your money, do what you want to do, but man, I'm telling you, these stores and these distributors, they make it hard on the brother out the streets trying to get a good bottle. Look, I feel like I've vented enough. I really didn't want to get on here and vent, but I just wanted to know, are we part of the problem? Because I'm going to go back into it. If you get a big bonus or you get a lot of overtime, and I'm gonna go back to golf, and you see that Scotty that you've been wanting forever. Now we know they don't jack the prices up on Scotty. Scotties are just jacked up anyway. So Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever Sporting Goods, Golf Galaxy that you go to, they're not saying, okay, well, this Scotty retails for $400, we're gonna sell it for $900. You know, they're selling it for the $400, but how many times have you taken that bonus or that overtime and went ahead and purchased a Scotty to treat yourself? And are we part of the problem if we consider ourselves treating ourselves? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a drink. Cheers, fellas. Look, thanks. Let the whiskey float. Never run out unless you're headed to a drop. Till next time.